Good evening from New York. I am Selwyn Collins, your host of CWS Conversations with Selwyn. Thank you for joining us this evening. Our guest is a brother from Trinidad, a designer and artist. Well, I'll let him describe himself for you, but his name is Robert Young. I'll take a short break, and on the other side, I'll introduce you to Robert Young. And the gentleman next to me is Mr. Robert Anthony Young. Robert, good evening and welcome to CWS.
Hi, good evening.
I don't know, I'm not hearing you too clearly.
Are you hearing me?
Again, welcome. And I think we should let our audience know that you are still in your...
Yeah, but there's a new cutting table being finished in the shop.
Yeah, I think we should let them know that you're still in the workshop. And
yes, in the workshop, and there is a finishing of a cutting table.
There's some noise. There's some noises that will go away in a few minutes or so.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that this sound is coming over properly, Robert. That it is not anything on my end. But anyway, if I may start by asking you, why do you design, and when did you realize and accept that you're good at what you do?
Well, I think it's one of the few things I did as a young person that I felt I did well, or people appreciated it. So that's why I stuck with it in the first instance. I started to design around the age 20. I started the course when I was 21. Starting to design and starting the label happened at the same time. But it was the only thing that I did that felt that people appreciated. So I think I stayed with that. And I now realize that is why I stayed with it, because it was a place where I got appreciation.
Someone said that they're hearing both of us, so this is great, wonderful. I understand you consider yourself more of an artist, actually an activist who designs clothes rather than a fashion designer. Why do you make that distinction?
It's something I'm comfortable with, because I'm not trained as a designer. I think designers make strategic decisions about solving a problem, which I never really approached it like that. I felt I wanted to put some voice on some others around the house, and I set out to do that. Stubbornly in the first instance, feeling that I remember seeing something written saying that we will contribute something new. We must contribute. That is a very stubborn, naive kind of position to have as a 21-year-old.
You know, Robert.
As a collaboration. Go ahead.
No, that you said that you're not a trained designer, and those of us who are acquainted with your work, I was recently introduced to it, and I was totally amazed. And by the reaction I got from some people who have seen some of the photos of your work that I've posted, it just indicated to me how very talented you are and how much people appreciate your work.
Well, I see talent as the absence of discouragement, and people getting a chance to show themselves too. I think my mother did a good job in the sense of setting up a place where we attempted things without much criticism. And the things that I was criticized about, I never did. I stopped doing early. So I started to actually create things late in my life. I'm not as a young person. I wasn't into clothes as a young person. Even just before I started the class, I felt agriculture was the centerpiece of somebody in the Caribbean. So I was farming at an acre of land across the river, which I was farming with a friend. And when we spent about 3 months preparing the land, plowing it, putting drains in. And when it was time to spraying the plants and weeding, it got very difficult, and then we stopped it. We just stopped going to the land after spending hours and hours preparing the land. But when the work came down to taking care of plants, I stopped. And I felt that was important. And then design happened. When design emerged for me, or making clothes, or creating ideas, there was a massive overflowing of people doing this in Trinidad. One of your people that you featured, Donald, the year after I launched the class with the 3 other people, we had a shop together at the Hotel Normandy. And she was a trainee designer from FIC, right? So she did a certain kind of exacting work, and we didn't. We kind of fumbled by trying to create something new. And somehow it survived.
Mm-hmm.
Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry. What you said you went to the land to farm, and then that didn't work out, and you came into design.
Yeah. Well, it was something I did that people seemed to like. My brother, Richard, he wore some things that I made, and people liked it, and I just kept on doing it because there was nothing that I did before with my hand or my mind that people seem to appreciate. I went through the Unitech system in Trinidad, and that kind of bangs you up in a certain way. And
if you do so well without formal training, as you stated,
well, for CLR James always said, never go take it, never. Just do it and attempt and try. Yeah.
What do you?
CLR James never went to school. He never went to university. He just did curiosity, and he read. And he's a very intelligent, clever person who questioned all kinds of things. So that's possible.
I've read where you quoted him before. Is this somebody that really inspired you a lot, CLR James?
Yeah. I would like to do a whole collection around his ideas. There were some things that we did before where we had things that I thought represented him in collections, and I kind of put him as no matter, he wouldn't wear army green, but I did things, some jackets that we call defender jackets, and it was CLR James was thinking about. We did some sarongs with his name on it. We did some sarongs with Claudia Jones as the woman who was the person who founded the Notting Hill Carnival, and she was deported from the US for ideas. She used to be an active communist in the 40s in the US. She was deported from the US, and the Trinidad governor at that time requested that she's not sent to Trinidad and sent it to the motherland, England, at that time. And then she did some activism, and she was able to set up the Notting Hill Carnival. She died at 50. She died in 64.
64.
64. Claudia Jones. She's also a Trinidadian woman.
If you were not designing today, what do you believe your career would have been? Your career?
I can't imagine. I can't imagine. Can't imagine because I work differently than other people. I don't know. I might have been a ne'er-do-well.
What drives Robert Young?
Just hope. Hope about possibilities. Hope about. I kind of try to live with the concept of limbo.
Yes.
Where limbo is the creation of space where none was provided. So and also usually concept of fan is the creation of beauty where there was once not. So I try to do that with the work I do.
Do you remember your first design and the reaction to it?
The first thing I made that I felt really good about is a shirt. There are two shirts. One that we still make called the TSH5 and another one called the bag in the back shirt. It's a shirt that we made that was like a worker shirt, how I saw it, as a basic white shirt. Like if a worker threw his lunch kit over his back with a belt, and he had a placard on his shoulder, like here.
Uh-huh.
So the shirt was constructed in a way where there was a bag permanently on the back with a strap, and then onto the body, so I sewed in a placard which carried a statement, a protest. And that we sold that for a few years well.
What inspired that, Robert? What inspired that design?
The idea is a worker shirt, a worker on a picket line, basically.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Have you ever come up with something, a concept, that when you put it into effect, you get a lot of pushback for it? And when that happened, if it happened, how do you react to that?
Just leave it alone or come back doing it, because a lot of things I've done, a lot of my, we build collection, with the last 15 years, 14 years, we have built collections nearly every year, new collections. But prior to that, we did a group of classic things that were like 10, 15 years old that we would produce again and again. And if it didn't work out, we bring it again, because there's something that we showed in 2008. Nothing happened, nobody saw it. We changed the color, we put more detail on it, then it started to happen. And we work like that. I hold out because the cloth I try to push a new tagline for the cloth for humans. So the cloth for humans. With basic clothes that people can look good in. It's not high fashion. It's light cotton, comfortable clothes that anybody could wear. And the idea is trying to generate things that people can feel comfortable with, that can last a long time, become classic.
Mm-hmm.
Put for the cloth. The same way you will hear about the 501 jeans or whatever. We have things, the TSH5 is 29 years old, we were producing it and it still sells. Yeah?
I want to go down a particular path that you mentioned early on, where from the farm to fashion.
Mm-hmm.
But what was the defining moment for you? What made you take fashion seriously and make a career out of it?
Again, having like any most young men in the Caribbean, having questioning your intelligence, your capacity, and then doing something that people admired, and I just stuck with that. It stood out, and people liked it and said, yes, this makes sense, I like it, and I was able to do it. But also, I kind of grew up in the rural areas of Trinidad. I grew up in a place called Maracas Valley. Not particularly rural, but close to it. And fashion was a town thing, a city thing. And we came out, three of us at that time, adulthood. We found the people who worked at the beginning of the club was adulthood. She now teaches at the University of the West Indies, Camille Selvon. She runs the anime career, runs the animation department at the University, and the other person is Nancy Phillips, the manager of Chimo Bakery, as a 75-year-old bakery back home. They were the people who worked with me in the beginning, and we were not from town. And we came in and we did this thing that what people consider a town thing, a city thing, and we did it well. But like I understand now, we kind of did it like maroons. We stayed where we were, and we came in and we made an intervention, and then we went back where we came from. So I always felt like an outsider doing this thing.
Uh-huh.
Even now, still feel like I'm outside of it, because I'm not fashion person. Really and truly, I'm not a fashion person.
What were some of your earlier fears when you first started, and how you overcame them?
I don't know if I've overcome them yet. If I can continue doing, if I can pull something more out of me, if I really stop, if I can just stop, sometimes people stop. And that's one thing I felt like I must never stop.
Mm-hmm.
Must never stop. A lot of people, a lot of my colleagues have stopped doing this because they figure it's not making money, or it's too hard, or not enough government support, and all of that. And I just figure, this is what I'm not born to do, but what I chose to do, and I'm not going to stop.
Is it the money for you?
No. Money is not part of this. Money is not part of this. It's about just contributing ideas, and doing it as seeing myself as a black Caribbean person, a black male Caribbean person who is putting out an idea and people accept it, and to continually do that and not stop doing it. So that's what drives me in a way. Stubbornness, not just.
I had the privilege of having your brother Richard Young on my show. Brilliant. I mean, that's unquestionable.
Yeah.
Very, very knowledgeable in Caribbean history. Very knowledgeable in fashion, the whole fashion
Right.
industry. Now, going into